It now becomes a universal issue. When the US dollar gets stronger, it is a problem that belongs to everyone else but America. America now needs a strong US dollar to tame inflation. While it tightens its monetary policy, its currency US dollar continues to appreciate against other currencies like the British sterling, Japanese yen, and Chinese RMB. Central banks around the world have all stepped in to stabilize their respective currency markets, selling US dollars and buying back their own currency to maintain the stability of exchange rates. As the US trade deficit continues to grow, its fiscal deficit is also reaching new highs. Nation-states and enterprises with US dollar-denominated bonds are facing pressures with loan payment and even solvency. But all these are not of a concern to the United States. The ongoing dollar appreciation, of course, does no harm to the US now. It is expected to help resolve its inflation issue while making imports cheaper, despite the fact that inflation is still going up. Some are saying a Plaza Accord scenario may happen, and the US dollar will be forced to depreciate itself against other currencies. In my view, a new Plaza Accord will be highly unlikely for several reasons. First, the US was the perpetrator of the Plaza Accord in 1985, and the main incentive was to resolve its huge trade deficit against Japan. Well, now the US lacks this incentive, as the trade deficit is not their priority. Inflation is. Two, global cooperation dynamics are very different now from what they were in 1985. We have experienced regional wars, decoupling between the US and China, and the pandemic, and we are still facing regional conflicts now. Well, multilateral cooperation is nice to have, but hardly realistic. Three, the Plaza Accord itself has not really benefited either the US economy or Japanese economy for long after the execution of the agreement. The Japanese economy experienced the fluctuations and the lost decade, while the US had to stabilize the dollar through the 1987 G7 meeting in Paris again. What do all these mean to us? It means that the US dollar as a global anchor currency has a selfishness written into its very nature. Its own economic development is the most important thing. For the US, in order to get the most out of the global system, leveraging the status of the greenback, other nations benefit are not a concern at all. The Fed Reserve prints money when the US economy needs to be boosted and lends money recklessly at a cost of other countries' dollar reserves and, even worse, causing the financial crisis. And while other countries are still recovering from this crisis, they felt the need to tighten their monetary policies and leaving other countries scrambling to catch up. It is not sustainable for the US to keep behaving like this. Most likely, the current US dollar appreciation shall gradually taper during the second half of next year, while its inflation pressure easing. But in the meantime, the most important thing is that given the geopolitical tension globally, if no one keeps buying US dollar-denominated bonds and paying bills in US dollar, its currency status will be replaced sooner or later.